and welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst cars since 2010, so you don't have to, in the pretty desperate, usually, hunt for points. And it is the German Grand Prix of 2016. We're back at Hockenheim, a circuit I really quite enjoy, actually. The modern layout, particularly, I don't really remember driving the old layout all that much. Maybe in the future we'll go back and try that, but who knows. But Hockenheim, yeah, great circuit. And a Grand Prix that I kind of miss not being on the calendar, actually. We're in that weird phase where it was alternating with the Nürburgring, and then the Nürburgring stopped, and then we have a couple of years on and a couple of years off. And there's only, I think, two more, 18 and 19 now, I think, for Hockenheim, before it drops off the calendar completely. Which is a crying shame, in my opinion. I think this is a far better track than some of the ones that we've had join the calendar since. Personal opinions aside, though, this season has been one of frustration for the large part, I feel. We arrive here off the back of a Hungarian Grand Prix where I think for the first time this season we actually genuinely lacked pace, but we still finished not that far away from the points. Shows you the potential of this car, but we've got DNFs scattered around. We've had incidents with the rest, practically the entire rest of the field, including our teammate a couple of times, that have wiped us out of points paying positions. And that means, as you can see as well, we lost our rivalry to Fernando Alonso last time, but that means we're 13th in the standings with only 27 points to our name. Lewis Hamilton leads the way by 70 points ahead of Max Verstappen, who's 2 clear of Kimi Raikkonen. Vettel is only 7 behind. Nico Rosberg not defending his title very well down in 5th there. Bottas is 6th, ahead of Ricardo, Perez, Button, Massa, Alonso, Hülkenberg. There we are, ahead of Carlos Sainz, Daniel Kvyat. Pascal's picked up a few points, he's in 16th, ahead of Magnussen and Palmer. And then the Haas and Saubers at the back with no points. Gutierrez ahead of Grosjean, Nasser and Ericsson. Constructors-wise, Mercedes lead the way by 58 points. Ferrari moved into 2nd after Red Bull had a pretty terrible Hungarian Grand Prix. Williams are 4th, ahead of Force India. And it's McLaren. We're sort of on our own, although just 9 clear of Toro Rosso. But with their points tally, or the way they're picking up their points, it's hit and miss for them, so we might be alright. Renault in 9th, ahead of Sauber and Haas. And yeah, as I say, last time out, genuinely the first time this season I feel we've actually lacked pace, but we were still able to get involved in the fight for points, which shows you either that Legendary on this game is a lot easier than expected, or this car is a lot better than its reputation suggests. Yes, there is the ultimate difficulty level. We didn't go for that. We stuck with Legendary to keep it kind of consistent, and we'll probably do the same once we get to the sliding scale that the more modern games have. Roughly around the same sort of AI level, I think. And we'll probably see a big step up as we go forward. But Germany, Hockenheim, we've had a couple of good races at. Actually, the first season in this series, back in 2010, we took a podium spot at Hockenheim. It's a circuit where you can throw the car around a lot. The fiddly little stadium section at the end of the lap can let you down time-wise, but it's a circuit that is fast and free-flowing, and one that I quite enjoy driving. So I'm kind of hoping that we can come back strong after a poor Hungarian Grand Prix. Have a quick look at the trophy room, actually, because after this it's Belgium, Italy, and then we're into the flyaways: Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, America, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. We're actually getting quite close to the end of this season, and the end of Mana's existence. At least we've done them proud in this final season with 27 points on the board. I'd like to think that we can pick up more before the end of the season, but we've just got to be careful in wheel-to-wheel combat. I'd assume practice is going to see us 22nd and last, because we go out first thing in practice 1 before the track rubbers in and improves for time. That doesn't matter though. Let's go see where we stack up and how this car feels around this wonderful circuit. I'll go do that. While we do, we'll talk about the real world 2016 German Grand Prix. The German Grand Prix returned to the calendar for round 12 of the season, and there were some rule changes after the controversy in Hungary. Not only did the FIA repeal all rules relating to pit-to-car radio, the FIA announced that double yellow flags in qualifying would represent the same as red flags. There was also driver speculation. as there were rumours that Rio Haryanto would be dropped after the sponsors had not met their financial obligations, though the Indonesian would take part in what would be his final race weekend. The first practice session was one of little incident, save for a spin for Grosjean late on and Renault reserve driver Esteban Ocon needing to pit with power steering problems, though the Ferraris were accused by Grosjean and Alonso of impeding during the session, though they weren't cited by the stewards. Mercedes led the way by quite a margin, Rosberg ahead of Hamilton and Vettel. There were even fewer incidents in the second practice session, though the stewards were paying close attention to track limits throughout, Hockenheim using all of his strikes at turn 1. Rosberg would remain on top at his home Grand Prix ahead of Hamilton and Vettel, though the Ferrari was closer than the first session. Prior to the final practice session, the drivers were given a new directive on track limits at turn 1, with Charlie Whiting setting the outermost edge of the curve as the edge of the track. Rosberg would make a clean sweep in practice ahead of Hamilton, who was under investigation for an unsafe release from the pits, and Daniel Ricciardo in third.
Conditions should remain dry. We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather.
Qualifying one was one of few surprises, though for a good chunk of time Pascal Wehrlein was in position to make it into Q2 before a late raft of quicker laps relegated the man to the drop zone. He'd be joined by Magnussen, Kvyat, Haryanto, Nasser and Ericsson. The two also provided no shocks, though Vettel and Sainz were both guilty of frustrating their fellow drivers, Vettel getting in Alonso's way while Sainz impeded Massa. It wouldn't stop the Brazilian getting through though. Sainz would get knocked out alongside Gutierrez, Button, Alonso, Grosjean and Palmer. Mercedes would be dominant throughout qualifying, and so it remained in the final part, Rosberg setting a picture-perfect lap to take pole ahead of Hamilton, the Brit making a mistake on his final run, which condemned him to second on the grid. Ricciardo would line up third ahead of Verstappen, Raikkonen, Vettel, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Perez and Massa. Despite his pace in qualifying, Rosberg found himself losing ground off the line, Hamilton getting a perfect start and taking the lead, while Ricciardo also made it rain the number 6 at the start. It would get worse for Rosberg, as Verstappen also jumped in before an audacious move on his teammate, slotting to second. Hamilton would pull away by around half a second a lap, building a good lead before making his stop. Rosberg would follow Verstappen into the pits on lap 11 while Ricciardo stayed out. The Australian would be worried about the undercut. Rosberg had a slow stop as his left rear tyre change was delayed, and he'd also fall behind the McLarens on pit exit. With Verstappen on Rosberg on the super soft tyres, it wouldn't be long before they began to fall off, Rosberg pulling the trigger on lap 27 for his second stop to try and undercut the Red Bull. Verstappen would still emerge ahead of Rosberg, but he would be under pressure. Rosberg would get DRS and make a late dive at the hairpin, Verstappen moving even later to defend. The contact was inevitable, and the lack of steering input from Rosberg would be enough to net him a 5-second penalty for the collision. Ricciardo had been sent out on the more durable soft tyres and caught up to Verstappen in the closing stages, the Dutchman waving his teammate through to try and get both Red Bulls ahead of Rosberg by the end. They'd be aided by the fact the Mercedes misjudged the time they needed to hold Rosberg, keeping him stationary for an extra 4 seconds. Hamilton, though, would be undisturbed at the front, taking a commanding victory ahead of Ricciardo and Verstappen. Rosberg would still take 4th despite his struggles, while the points were completed by Vettel, Raikkonen and Hülkenberg, Button, Bottas and Perez. Been on a decent run in qualifying of late. Can we keep it up to the strong results here? I enjoy Hockenheim. It's a fun circuit to drive and it's been a decent hunting ground for us in this series, to a point. This car has also got decent pace at this stage of the season, though we're still going to have to work for a good result. We're going to aim for 12th place, which will at least give us a good starting point to try and claim some points, and show that we've got the pace to fight a little bit further up the field.
Welcome to Germany for today's qualifying session at the famous Hockenheim ring. The pit lane lights will turn green in the next minute or two to signify the start of qualifying. Drivers tend to complain about tyre wear around this track, and the compounds on offer this weekend aren't likely to put that issue to bed. Is this going to be about who can make the tyres last?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
It won't be easy getting out of this qualifying session, but see what you can do.
Geraint Crofty and Jeff, and the heavy rain has set in here at Hockenheim, which might actually help, might actually hinder. Don't really know. We have had wet races this season, obviously back in Spain. We performed pretty well, so maybe a wet qualifying session can really benefit us. See if we can make it through. The team want 15th as well, so they really want us to push into Q2, even though Jeff doesn't think we can make it. I think we get out there, get some laps on the board, and if it improves, switch at just the right time to try and strike while the iron's hot. Take a look then at our fastest lap in Q1, soaking wet session as well. Head into turn 1, take a little bit of an entry curve and then run wide, actually take out the DRS sign on the outside, but it doesn't damage us too much as we head up towards turn number 2. First lap, we got this all wrong, ran deep. We've kept it nice and tight to the apex there, and we can swing it through 3 as we get on the power up towards the hairpin. You've got to be careful you don't put too much steering input in conditions like this. It will spin the car, throw us into the wall and out qualifying. But we get through there nice and cleanly and get on the brakes at just the right time for the hairpin. Again, keeping it nice and tight to the curb. Car's behind us, but we're not going to let that worry us too much as we get on the power once again. The rain is going to ease off, but not in time for this second. We head towards the Mercedes grandstand to see a little wiggle there and we get a touch of oversteer, trying to keep power on through that little kink to the right, but we survived and managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction as we head towards the stadium section at the end of the lap. Well up on our last lap time, and we can take a fair amount of inside curve there, wait to get on the power so we don't spin at the rears too much as we get into this hairpin at the top end. Use the camber on the inside of the corner to bring the car round, and that seems to work as we bounce over the curb on the entrance to that little chicane. Final couple of corners don't get too far wide on that drag strip. We've seen in real life what can happen there. But we're nice and neat and tidy and gun it for the line, and it's an impressive lap that should see us through. Well then, the session started easing off in terms of rain, and as you can see, a few people got the Inters on. Renault and Haas making it through, with Verstappen up at the top, Kvyat, Magnussen, Grosjean and Gutierrez through. We're through as well, P9. After our runs on the wet tyres, felt good in the wet conditions. As we scroll down the order, Ericsson got an intermediate on right at the death, and he squeezed through. Nico Hülkenberg, Jenson Button, Carlos Sainz, Pascal Wehrlein, Jolyon Palmer and Felipe Nasr, the drivers that have dropped out. So it's going to be probably an Inter Q2. Hopefully, though, we can squeeze our way through once again. In the garage then for Q2, intermediate tyres to start. There is still a little bit of rain, I think, in the air, so it feels like it might dry out soon. Hopefully we can get a good lap in and give ourselves a good shot, but if it does change to dry tyres, we're really going to have to push. So let's get out there, get a sighter in, see how the weather progresses.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
Jeff's given the game away, isn't it? We'll head out once the track's dried up. In Q2 then, we wait to the end of the session to wait for the track to dry out, and we head down towards turn number 1. Can take an awful lot of entry curve there, and it's exactly what we do. As you can see, we've got DRS open, heading down towards turn number 2, nice and tight to the apex. Really well done, get on the power nice and early so we can get maximum drive onto the back straight. It's a purple first sector, we're the only, or at least the first person to be setting dry tyre lap times here. Heading up towards the hairpin, keeping the car nice and steady. Heavy on the brakes, quite late on the brakes actually, and we ran a little deep, but that means we can slingshot a little bit through the apex and get on our way towards the Mercedes grandstand. No such issues with oversteer through that little kink to the right as there was in Q1. And again, late on the brakes, take a little bit of entry curb, run it wide so we can again get on the power nice and early, and to lift off a little through that right just inside the car. But again, purple sector 2 as we head into the stadium section, can really keep the speed up through there, through that right-hander, and then again camber on the inside to bring the car round, ride the curbs there nicely, and again really pushing hard, keeping it nice and tight to the apex, take an awful lot of apex on the entry to the final corner, then just gun it for the line, easily making it through.
Fantastic. That was the fastest lap.
Well, we timed the switch to dry tyres perfectly, and we get into Q3 for the second or third time this season, and we're in a very mixed up Q3 thanks to the fact that a number of cars didn't leave the pits after the track dried out. Nico Rosberg tops the times. We're second ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Grosjean, Magnussen, Ericsson into the top 10. Verstappen, Hamilton, Ricciardo and Raikkonen hang on in the Inters, which means that Felipe Massa, Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, Daniel Kvyat and Esteban Gutierrez are knocked out. 13 seconds between Rosberg's best time and Gutierrez's best time thanks to the switch. We're into Q3, and Jeff talked about possible rain again as we were running around our second lap in the session. So who knows, we might be back to Inters very quickly. Let's see what Q3 has in store. Let's then take a look at our fastest lap in Q3 then. The rain has returned and we head into the turn 1 flick, and we take an awful lot of entry curb, which actually improves our time no end as we head up towards turn number 2. Having to be a little bit more circumspect on the brakes and on the power than we were in Q2, obviously, in these conditions, but well up on our best time and looking pretty good so far. Again, much like Q1, you don't want to oversteer too much through this not quite straight, so you don't spin the rear up. We get on the brakes nice and early for the hairpin, keep it nice and tight, wait, and then we get on the power until we've got the car pointing in that direction.
Ease off in 5 minutes time.
The rain ease off, but we've only got like 40 seconds left to qualify, and we managed to maintain a good pace through that kink to the right without oversteer, and then nicely over the curb through the Mercedes grandstand. Heading towards now the stadium section, the tail end of the lap. Time is purple and we're looking very good at the moment to maybe take pole position as we head into the hairpin at the back end of the stadium, using the camber like we've done all the way through the session just to get the front end turned in. Over one curve, miss the other one, and it's heavy on the brakes. We're a little wide on entry, which actually sends us wide on exit. Managed to keep the traction up and slingshot into the final corner, which actually gives us a really great run. Provisional pole, do we hold it till the end
That's
to
the
qualify?
fastest lap so far. Well done. Fantastic. You've got pole.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Ricciardo, Amana and Lewis Hamilton. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
We take a front row start at the German Grand Prix. What a session. We were pole. I think Daniel Ricciardo was the only person to make it out with enough time to set a lap. He's gone out. He's just beaten us by 0.2 of a second. I think we were faster in our final lap as well, and we ran out of fuel. But I'll take a front row grid start. We're ahead of Hamilton, Rosberg, Verstappen, Raikkonen, Bottas, Grosjean, Ericsson and Magnussen completing the top 10. This is going to be one hell of a race. Turn 1 is going to be quite interesting because we might be able to snatch the lead. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see, though, if we could hold off much faster cars behind us. Maybe we just need to pray for rain in the race as well. Let's cross to that race.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me. We're racing in the Rhine Valley this weekend at the home of many of the sport's finest competitors. The 2.8-mile Hockenheim ring requires precision through the technical stadium section and great raw speed down the long, flat-out curve towards the popular overtaking zone of the Turn 6 hairpin. Watch out for a lot of wheel-to-wheel action there today. And joining me on this journey today is Anthony Davidson. Now, Ant, it's the home race for Mercedes, so tell me from your perspective as a driver, does a team's attitude change for their home race? Obviously a home victory, particularly good marketing, you'd think, play on the national pride side of things a bit, but do you see that all come through at all?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, you do get a bit of a pep talk, I suppose. There's certainly somewhat of a raised sense of importance when it's the team's home race, but at the end of the day, we're all professionals. I mean, I want to win every race I compete in, and the teams want to win every race they compete in too. So the stakes are unbelievably high at this level. I mean, the effort is 100%, 24/7 all year round, whether it's your home Grand Prix or not.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. It was a good showing from Red Bull in qualifying, and Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position and a Manor alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Rosberg, Max Verstappen and Raikkonen, Bottas, Grosjean, Ericsson and Kevin Magnussen, Massa, Vettel, Fernando Alonso and Perez, Kvyat, Gutierrez, Nico Hülkenberg and Jenson Button, Sainz and Wehrlein, Jolyon Palmer and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Well, the rain dance clearly worked. It is a wet weekend in Germany and we are second on the grid. Nobody in front of us, immediately in front of us anyway. Daniel Ricciardo to our left. A driver we were only 2/10 off in qualifying. Highest placed Mercedes engined car as well. Ahead of both factory cars, ahead of the Force Indias, the Williams, everyone. We've got the likes of Vettel and Massa down in about 11th and 12th. We've got Haas, Renault and Sauber in the top 10 as well. This could be quite the race. And we saw earlier in the season in Spain, I can compete in these sorts of conditions in this car, and this circuit as well. I feel like I've got decent pace at. I'd love to get a podium. That would be brilliant. It would be really great to get back to decent points after so many missed opportunities this season. But I don't want to push too hard. I think I really just want to get through this race and try and pick up some points. So I'm going to aim for 5th place, right in the middle of that top 10, just to pick up some more points, put some more on the board, get past 30, and maybe then look to push on in the coming races at Belgium and Monza and Singapore, particularly. Obviously Singapore, a circuit we've done very well at over this series. So we'll see what we can do off the line. If we can make places, or a place, and lead by the end of the first lap, there's an outside shot. But we know it's going to be a struggle keeping these guys behind, even in these conditions. Well, it's time. You can see the lights just in front of us. Let's get the 5 red lights on and out again for the 2016 German Grand Prix. 3 lights, 4 lights and 5. Long hole, but away we go at Hockenheim. Start isn't too bad, trying to cover the inside, make sure Nico Rosberg doesn't come steaming up the inside. We have to take to the runoff a little bit. Right, Ricciardo has managed to get through. Everybody else is backed up behind us. We're going to go for a dive. We've split Ricciardo out the way. We've done to Daniel Ricciardo what he's done to so many people in the past, and we lead in Germany. Can we now actually break away? We sort of are. Alright, let's go. It's very much like Austria. Ricciardo and Hamilton immediately behind us. Mixed conditions. Damp conditions, should I say. Safety cars in lap 1, even with that tricky turn 1 in these conditions. as we head towards the Mercedes grandstand. Mercedes power unit at the back of this car. We're heading into the stadium now, and yeah, we've got a little gap back to Ricciardo. This is where I lose most of my time across the lap, but just got to keep it clean and tidy now. We're in the final corner time, the first lap of this race. We are leading in Germany by nearly a second. Exactly the start we needed. Ricardo, Hamilton and Rosberg keeping me honest. We've sort of broken away from the pack because a couple of little packs, little groups have formed. Us four are one of them. And there's another little group a bit further back. We're kind of spread out a little bit. Rosberg currently the fastest man on track as well, so he's pushing the two ahead of him. If they all start fighting, we might be able to back away just a little further.
Reports suggest that the rain will stop in about 5 minutes' time. 5 minutes.
Ricardo and Hamilton battling up towards the hairpin. Suggestion that rain will stop in about 5 minutes. There's a yellow flag behind. Nico Rosberg is out. Ricardo's gone out backwards as well as the VSC is out. Bottas is now in third.
We need to keep a positive delta here. Slow down, maintain a positive delta. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Rosberg is out. Ricardo's fallen back. Bottas is in third. Hamilton's now second. Go just a touch too fast.
Virtual safety car is ending.
You've got to be very careful here.
VSC ending. Wait for green.
See it is ending. And there's the green flag. Perfect. Hamilton's the man behind us. I think we've got to get back to Valtteri Bottas. He does stop soon. That's when we might start to struggle. The field is pretty spread out. Hamilton's a bit of a lost cause, like it was in Austria.
Okay, the weather's certainly eased off for the time being, but we've still got a lot of standing water out there. We're happy for you to stay out on the inters for now.
Okay. Jeff letting us know what the situation is with the weather. We will be running on a dry track, it seems, at some point soon. Hold our advantage for a little while.
The track's drying, the track is drying. Let us know when it's time for slicks.
We're starting to get to the crossover point now. Doesn't look like anybody else has dived into the pits. It's going to be an interesting call to make as to whether we go to the super softs and go for a short, quick run, or we try and do harder tyres to try and just run along. Save on pit stops. We are getting close to where we were due to get rid of the inters anyway, so the timing might be just spot on. Run wide into the hairpin. It's going to cost us a bit of time. We'll maybe wait and see what Jeff decides. He thinks is best for tyre strategy. So leading the way. Nobody else to judge it on as to what they move to, how they try and tackle the remainder of the race. Kimi Räikkönen has pitted in, and he's gone back to the intermediate tyre. So, that may suggest that the rest of the field are going to start heading in now. So,
if the situation changes, we'll let you know.
We'll move back to the inters. If we can just hold out, we might be able to move straight to the dry tyres. Obviously save us a pit stop on everybody else. It is closing now, we are starting to struggle.
for you. Box this lap.
We've come in as scheduled. I'm not going to do it just yet. We're only a lap or two away from moving to the dry tyres anyway. But wide, I'm struggling. Save the pit stop on everybody else. Really working out in my favour. Hamilton dives in.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Pascal is in the pits. Confirmed.
Get the call for the alternate strategy. It is to move to dry tyres. So, let's head on in now. I was going to switch to the mediums. I'll do what Jeff suggests, go soft to the end of this race. DRS has been enabled. Hamilton is closing, but he is going to be still about 14 or 15 seconds back by the time we enter the pits. We've saved ourselves a stop.
Is 15.0 seconds.
We pull it into the pits, but then move straight to the dry tyres. Will be a very inspired call here. We'll start coming out into the pits. Hamilton's in, but we're already on our way out of the pits.
Only one stop to go. One stop left in this strategy.
And it's all about how long till they catch us up. Doesn't stay as Raikkonen's in. Ferrari not double stacking. So Hamilton might get stuck behind Vettel for a little bit. Vettel is in, so Hamilton does move into second place. 15 seconds the gap. Hopefully we can just hold him at that, or he doesn't take a huge amount out of us each lap, because if we can make it to the next pit stop with a nice little buffer as well, we might be able to just hold him off all the way to the end. Verline second fastest laps as he's one of the early ones to switch to the dries. Hamilton are currently about 0.7 of a second quicker a lap. But we actually gained 2 tenths on him in that last lap, and the track will only get quicker as we go. When it begins to plateau out, you can see lap times are tumbling already. Track rubber's back in, and it comes to us. Hamilton now taking chunks of time out of us. 14.5. There's a bit of a gap back to Raikkonen after that. I think it's Verstappen and Bottas and Vettel after that. Get into those pit stops ahead of everybody, I think. We might be able to come out of this with a really, really big result. Drivers in the 20s, we're in the 21s, get down to 10 seconds. We might be able to hold Hamilton off now, time down into the 19s. Might be able to hold Hamilton off until the pit stop. I think he's going to get us before the end. Might still be able to hang on to a podium. We're going to have to push for this, I think. I've got to be sensible when they catch me, because it will be when. Got to be sensible about fighting with them.
Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
Trying to get us to come in early, we'll remain out. Hamilton's in. Raikkonen as well. They've moved on to medium tyres. They're going for a longer end of the race than we are. Interesting strategy. That'll work out in our favour if we're on the faster tyre. Which I suppose depends how quick their outlaps are.
Our gap behind is 16.6 seconds. We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Copy that.
Team has come in now as an alternate strategy, but already coming out into this lap. Pascal's in, we should be fine to file up after him, because he should be long gone by the time we get there.
Box, box, box.
19 seconds, Hamilton might jump us. Might only be marginal. Mass is probably coming in. So we head in. Our final stop of this race. The lead of this Grand Prix have been since the start. Took the lead at turn 2. That's a staying in. Massa's not staying out.
Look after these tyres now.
Hamilton crosses the line. There he is. Stay out in front of Lewis Hamilton. There was a little bit of a delay. The team weren't quite ready for me. Get in and get out ahead of Hamilton. It's within DRS range. I think the faster tyres work to my favour, but there's a much, much faster car behind us. As I said earlier, I don't want to fight too hard, risk ending up in the wall or out of this race. We'll be on for a very, very strong result regardless. With the gap back to Kimi Raikkonen. It's all over us already though. This feels inevitable. Valiant effort to try and keep Mercedes behind though, since the switch to dry tyres. If it remained intermediate for the entire race, I think we might have done it. I think they'll probably get us here up towards the hairpin.
We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather.
There goes Hamilton. Oh, he squeezes us a little bit. Just sat perfect position in the racing line. Try and take the slingshot through the hairpin, but he's through. Hamilton, you feel, will scamper away. Just got to drive our own race to the end here, I think. Try and keep Kimi behind us. Two is still better. Not scoring at all, but pushing too hard. Fighting too hard with a car that is so much faster than me. We're keeping with him at least for now. Should get the DRS off Nasa. I should get the DRS off him. It's going to be enough to catch up, especially not with that exit at the final corner.
Okay, gap to leader 0.6 seconds.
Awful lot of turn 1. Nasa will move out of Hamilton's way. He will remain of ours as well, I hope. A little careful into 2 as he's still on our inside. We will get the DRS, but I think this is where we say goodbye to the Mercedes. Verstappen again. Verstappen has parked it. And there it is, safety car is out.
Has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
Saw where Verstappen had stopped and I thought, is it going to happen? It has. This is going to make it very interesting towards the end of this race. It was, I'd say, probably likely to keep Kimi behind. He wasn't really taking any time out of us. But now he's going to be right on our tail as we restart. has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works.
Safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember there is no overtaking until the first safety car line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Safety car in this lap then. It's a few laps to the end of this Grand Prix. Got plenty of fuel for Rich Mix. Felipe Nasr behind us. He will have to dive immediately out of the way. We've managed to avoid hitting the back of Hamilton as well. He says it's very close. Hamilton though will gun it now round the final corner. Assume that Mercedes is going to scamper away quickly.
First place is 0.6 seconds.
Oh, we've got a 3-second time penalty for going too early into turn 1.
It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Look for a move on Hamilton if we take the lead. We need to pull away from the field by a few seconds here. To our inside. Breaking into the hairpin, there's a little bit of contact. Massa and Raikkonen, Bottas and Raikkonen, I think, coming together a bit further back. Yellow flags were out. Get away by the 3 seconds I need to avoid falling too far back. We can maintain a podium spot. Which I think are still on at least. Raikkonen, it's all kicking off back there. Massa was fighting with somebody, Raikkonen and Bottas were fighting. Hamilton gives us a little nudge. Should get past us up towards the hairpin. I don't think we're going to fight this one too hard. Try and use the Mercedes to my advantage, although it's forced me wide in the hairpin. Raikkonen and Bottas right behind us. I think I'm falling off the podium. I might still come home 4th, 5th, maybe 6th as I run wide towards the Mercedes grandstand, and Raikkonen's put us into the wall. Oh, and then we're out.
What happened? Let me know you're okay.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, it's a difficult decision for sure, but I'm going to say Pascal Wehrlein. We've been seeing his talent elsewhere for a while now, and it's good to see him making the same kind of impact in Formula One.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
For the 4th time this season, we are eliminated from the Grand Prix. That one a little bit my fault. However, Kimi Raikkonen got stuck to us, pushed us into the wall, and on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, where we were running for more points, we are eliminated. Lewis Hamilton takes the win ahead of Bottas and Vettel, and it's Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Pascal gets some good points there in 6th, Button 7th, Alonso 8th, and it's Kvyat and Esteban Gutierrez gets Haas's first points in F1 in 10th. And it's Sainz, Magnussen, Grosjean, Palmer, Ericsson, Raikkonen down in 16th in the end, ahead of Massa, who I think got caught up with me, as did Perez. Nasr finishes 19th. We are out in 20th with Verstappen and Rosberg as well. In the drivers' stand-ins, Hamilton now leads Vettel by 89 points. Verstappen slips to 3rd ahead of Raikkonen. Then it's Bottas, Rosberg, Ricardo Perez, Button, Massa, Hülkenberg, Alonso. We remain 13th somehow, ahead of Sainz. Wehrlein moves up to 15th ahead of Kvyat. Then it's Magnussen, Palmer, and Gutierrez gets a point. And Grosjean, Nasr, and Ericsson are the only drivers without. Means in the constructors, Mercedes lead by 68 ahead of Ferrari. Then it's Red Bull, Williams, Force India, McLaren. We remain 7th, but we've got 40 points as a team, which is pretty good going. Thanks, Pascal. Both Toro Rosso, Renault, Haas move off the bottom, which means Sauber are last with no points. And another absolutely crushing way to end a Grand Prix. I ran wide and I thought I'd given him the room, and then I think we just connected together. Put me in the wall. I was trying to get back on the circuit and we were collected by, I think, Sergio Perez. I would have had to have pit anyway. I would have fallen out the points, but a late safety car meant that everybody was with us. That 3-second time penalty. If only I'd just been a little bit more circumspect into turn one and didn't have that, I might not have had to have pushed so hard. But once again, don't feel like I squeezed Raikkonen or anything like that. And F1 2016 AI once again absolutely ruins our race. It was all going so well. We genuinely looked like we could have got a wonderful result there. But for the fourth time in 2016, we do not finish the race. This season is turning into a little bit of a nightmare. We should easily be up at about 60 or 70 points, I think. This car's been fighting in amongst the points all the way through this season, but every race we've had some form of incident that has cost us, or most races anyway. Hopefully we can come back stronger in Belgium, but things are looking tricky. I enjoyed that right up until the death. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I'll see you for the next one at Spa. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.